Hey, and welcome back. Over the past 2 or 3 years on my channel, I've reviewed a number of different audio interfaces, with all of them sharing a similar characteristic of having 4 microphone preamps. For me, this is kind of the perfect middle ground of the smaller work and the larger work I do, where a 2-channel interface would work well at my desk when I'm just doing voiceovers like this, and when I'm doing full-on drum tracking, I really need like 12 to 16 channels. The 4-channel interfaces have been really useful for me when I'm doing almost everything else. Usually the ones I tried have been very mobile and bus powered, so it's what I take with me if I'm doing a grab-and-go session at a friend's house. It gives me enough inputs to do an overhead kick and snare, along with the voiceover mic if I'm doing a gear review. And even with small groups like a jazz trio, I can do a couple mics on the drums and then a mic on guitar and bass, or, piano if I have that instead of guitar. So I think I've built a little bit of a following with the different audio interfaces I've checked out. And recently, the folks at Antelope Audio reached out to me and asked if I would want to check out their new Zen Quadro. Now, I'm familiar with Antelope Audio, but only in the big picture view that I know they make some of the highest end audio interfaces and converters out there. Most of the stuff that they sell is in a price tier that I would never consider buying, because even though I am a professional musician, when it comes to home recording, I'm very much an amateur using prosumer level gear at best. So when I connected with Antelope Audio and got to discuss this new Zen Quadro, I was really excited because even though they offered to send me this for free to check out, the price tag on this comes in at a little over $700, which is on the high end of most things I've tried, but it is a price I would pay for an audio interface if it was really valuable to the work I do. Now, they sent me this a few weeks ago, and I unboxed it off camera before I really got a chance to use it today because I wanted to get acquainted with it before I sat here and gave you any impressions. After I got it unboxed, I thought I would connect it and just plug a microphone in and get going, but I was really disappointed to see that you're forced to register the device before you can really get to using it. As much as I'm okay and understanding of audio interfaces having tandem softwares to operate it, I really like when I can do everything on the audio interface just with tactile controls like an old school interface. I appreciate all the added features and routing capabilities of using the app within a computer, and if I'm being honest, I'm always going to have a computer with me when I have my audio interface, but I was a little bit disappointed of the extra steps I had to take to get going. With that said, it probably took me like 5 minutes to create an account on their site, download the software, get the device registered, which hopefully protects it for any potential warranty claim, and I was able to get to recording pretty quick. My first chance using this was actually over here in the studio for a video I was doing on a drum set that I refurbished, and I decided it would be a great chance to see how these preamps sound because it's a setup that I use so often here in my studio. That's a mono overhead, a Shure KSM32, an SE Electronics V-Kick on the bass drum, a Shure SM57 on the snare, and a Shure SM7B for a vocal mic. I'll go ahead and drop in some of the samples from that session I did here, and I'll try to present it in a way where you can hear the raw audio coming from the Zen Quadro before doing anything with the software that they have, and then some mixing and EQing. So in my opinion, even though I had a little bit of frustration with the setup of this interface, after getting a chance to hear those drums, there is a total sonic boost coming from the other interfaces I've used in the past. These preamps sound really good. Now, I didn't include any portion of me doing the voiceover because I have the Zen Quadro right here on my desk and I'm using it to record this video right now. And what I will say is, even though I own the Shure SM7DB, I'm bypassing the Cloud Lifter right now and just running it directly into the Zen Quadro, because one of the things that Antelope Audio really brags about with this interface is that it has some crazy amount of clean signal, eliminating the need to use a signal booster in chain for mics like this that are notorious for being low output. I've had no issues, and I boosted this thing up to like 70 dBs, and when I was doing the video in the other room, it sounded great, and I'm sure it sounds great right now. When it comes to the actual layout of the interface, I don't really enjoy that there's 2 inputs on the front and 2 on the back. I wish they were just all in line. I much prefer when they're on the back, because if I have it at my desk, then I don't have cables coming out the front of my desk and getting in my way. Aside from that, I do think it works really well. The software is really intuitive in terms of I can insert effects in line so that I can have reverb, compression, EQ, all those sorts of things. One of the other features that Antelope Audio really was excited about presenting was that this interface has 2 USB ports on the back, which you can use in a couple different ways. Right now, I'm just using one of them to run it directly into my computer, which is also powering the interface. But supposedly, I could use that second USB-C port to send it out to a charging brick so that it might not be drawing power from my computer. Or I should be able to take that port and run it into a mobile device, like my cell phone, and live stream to YouTube, TikTok, or potentially sync it up with video and make recording Instagram clips a lot more of a streamlined process. I quickly just plugged my phone in when I had all the mics set up and tried it out, and it didn't work as quickly as I hoped it would. Now, I'm not gonna hold that against him, because I think it's fair to assume that you would have to change some settings on your phone or on the interface to get this all set up and go. But I'm gonna reach out to the folks at Antelope Audio, get a little bit of assistance with that, and do another segment of this video to briefly walk you through that process. Because when I was searching YouTube, I found tons of reviews about this interface and a lot of people mentioning the dual USB outputs so that you could record to 2 different devices, but no one actually demoed it and showed me how to get the mechanics of it to work, at least with my iPhone here. I thought the software was really intuitive and easy to get used to, and one of the things that I really like about it is that you can quickly store presets. Because as I was saying, I use the same 4 mic setup for almost all of my YouTube video demos, so it would be great to be able to store that as a video demo setting and then have another preset for recording demos with my trio. So I want to revisit this video in about a week or 2, learn from the folks at Antelope, and just give you a better picture of this interface after I have even more experience with it, as opposed to right now where it's really just my first impressions. So as you saw, I just got done experimenting with the Zen Quadro in a live streaming application. And after a little bit of discussion with the folks at Antelope Audio, and then some research on my own, I was able to get a little bit more clarity on how this audio interface can connect to my iPhone. Now, the first thing that's really weird is if you want to record a video on your camera app on your phone, you actually have to open that app, then plug in the interface in order for it to recognize it and use it as the audio source. But if you just plug it in right away and then open the app, it's not going to work. At least from my research and my experience trying it both ways. For live streaming, it worked really well and simply. And one of the features that's really nice about this interface compared to other interfaces on the market that you can also connect with a phone, this has tons of onboard DSP and processing, meaning I can use preamps, compressors, reverbs, all sorts of stuff within this product without necessarily using the power of a laptop, and get all of that in the end product of my live stream. Now, the disappointing part about that is in order to set all those parameters in a mix, you can't do it on your phone. There's no mobile app for being able to affect the processing on the unit, so you do need to build a preset or adjust those settings on the desktop app first, but then you could disconnect it and still use this. But it's one extra step that would make it a little more challenging with using my phone. And if I'm already gonna have my laptop open to get the settings right, why wouldn't I just stream from my computer, I guess? In addition to using this for live streaming, Antelope Audio also advertises it as a live mixer for shows. And again, I think that would be a little tricky because you would want to have a computer there to adjust any settings, because playing from room to room can really change what you need in terms of compression, EQ, reverb. So I wouldn't be able to just build a preset, load this up at a show, and feel confident that I'll have everything I need and the flexibility to adjust any parameters I want to sound good in any given room. Overall, I really like this thing. It is one of the best sounding audio interfaces that I've personally got to use. For the price being in the higher end, it's still cheaper than all of its competitors by a fair margin. With that said, if you think this is the audio interface for you and you want to pick one up for yourself, you can use a special discount code that they gave me. It's Mike10. And if you use that at checkout on Antelope Audio's website, you're going to save 10%, which is over $70. So I'm really grateful to the folks at Antelope Audio for offering that to all of you out there, and even more grateful that they sent this one for me to check out. I'm hoping this can be a launching point for me experimenting with live streaming a little bit more, as it's something I've been afraid to get into, and this made the process pretty simple after I figured out how to get started. If you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate you making it to the end and watching. Leave a comment down below to let me know what you think about this, and until next time, thanks.